DTZ Entertainment presents
Coffee Bar Stories with your hosts,
Dad,
Son,
and Bubba. Now let's get to the fun.
Time now for two dad jokes. Why did the coach go to the bank? To get his quarterback. I'm afraid of speed bumps, but I am slowly getting over it.
welcome back to the Coffee Bar Stories. I'm your host, Son, and in today's episode, we're going to talk a little bit about Sloan Creek. Thank you very much. So, before we even start talking about Sloan Creek, we want to reassure and reiterate that our core format of the podcast is going to stay the same. Nothing's going to change. We're going to keep doing the skits like we have. If we have guests, we'll bring them on like we usually do. And we will continue doing everything we normally do. The only difference now is that we will now, on purpose, be connecting a lot of our skits, instead of it maybe happening on accident or a one-off. And that will basically move us into basically explaining Sloan Creek and what we're calling the Coffee Bar universe.
Yeah, now that we're getting ready to head into the Coffee Bar universe, this is the part that for me it's hard to grasp what the universe is, but the boys can explain that. For me, it's more, I'm building off of everything. If you pay attention, everything's tied together. I've been using Happy Jacks everywhere. I've been using all this,
Ricks, the Scamix.
yeah, all these. I've been referring to the same locations and whatnots and stuff like that.
And
so,
from the beginning, we've been referring to Sloan Corp in almost all of our stuff.
Yeah.
yeah,
So
yeah, Sloan Corp's that corporation. You know, they got their hand in almost everything.
Yeah.
But on hand in everything, but denies.
So to speak,
You know.
Sloan Corp is essentially, in the grand scheme of the story of the coffee bar universe, Sloan Corp is kind of just that entity that hangs around.
Yeah.
They're ever present.
Yeah, they have a hand in everything, and it's kind of the start of what created the Coffee Bar universe to begin with.
Well, what it was Sloan Creek or Sloan Corp made it easier to use it as for the commercials, making up commercials to come out with.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, well, it's easy to refer to this one corporation, and that way I'm not using something out there that gets me in trouble with somebody else that actually has something, because I wouldn't want to, talk down or make fun of somebody else's thing. So I figured, well, hell, I'll make up this corporation. It's like the conspiracy theory corporation that everyone has heard. Not everyone's heard, but
Yeah.
they suspect something in some big capacity, or have heard about it from some quack or two.
I mean, just look at how far they've come in with just drugs in general.
Yeah, absolutely. The pharmaceuticals.
In the pharmaceuticals.
That was the first thing we started with, actually. In season 1 was real or fake commercials. I think we were attributing. I don't think we did it in the real or fake commercials, but near the end, we started attributing most of the products that I was coming up with, because I was the one writing all of that, and it got really hard. We had to stop it real quick. But we were coming up with fake products, and like fake drugs was the easiest thing to do.
Oh, yeah.
Because just come up with some weird sounding name or some weird problem you would have, and then pile on side effects.
Yeah, and the side effects at a point. Anybody that pays any attention anymore, man, it's almost the whole commercial is side effects with maybe the first 3 to 5 seconds or
Telling you
what
what
it
it
is.
does.
What
Yeah.
it does and how it'll change your life, and
Or-
then it'll be like, okay, now let's list off the side effects: bleeding, cancer.
Yeah,
You know,
so we ended up taking
heart
that,
arrest.
basically running with it. We created the bodybuilder ball sack filler, a bunch of other
Yeah.
things, and we just started putting Sloan Corp onto it. We decided Sloan Corp's going to be this company. They make it and everything, and then we came up with the TV commercials, and we didn't have Sloan Creek in the mind yet at that time. When we were coming up with the commercials and them actually having a like the Happy Jacks or the commercials for I'm drawing a blank here, Dad.
Starting when I started using like making up places like Sally's Roadside Diner,
Yeah.
stuff like that. Well, that's gonna, we decide, well, that's gonna be part of it. Well, I'm using some of these and going back to them. Okay, we can start using this in the universe, and then it will create the thing, things that we'll get into. But for me, it was starting to get to the point where I was tying things together was the only way I could start to get things done, because it was getting to the point to where commercials were getting hard.
Yeah.
Making up stupid ones, people were beating me. I'm getting stuff on YouTube through that I'm like, man, this is dumber than anything I could write.
Oh, absolutely.
Some of it's funny, but some of it's just like, I'm glad those people got paid that acted in it. But man, that was a waste of time. As far as me sitting there and actually sitting through it and watching it, it was a waste of time.
Oh no, absolutely. It took, I think, what was the linchpin that actually decided, you know what, we're gonna create a universe out of this, because there was a few turning points
I
that
think-
we decided, wait, we can actually do something like the whole Marvel thing and the whole everything
I think
else.
all in all, that's when it came down to it's my idea of creativity, or how I approach creativity.
Yeah.
Is extremely different from your guys's, which is kind of why I stopped making my like sections. Is because my shit does not match.
Oh no.
The way I think and the way I do things just doesn't match. But I still try to get my ideas, and they are heard.
Oh yeah,
I-
absolutely.
I make an impact. I'd like
he
I'd like
makes
to.
more of an impact than he knows.
But I'm more subtle about it. But I'm kind of like, me and Son have got a like hyperfixation with horror,
Oh yeah.
and so me and him have just been running back and forth with ideas about Sloan Corp.
Yeah.
And we kind of wanted to make a story behind it, but we need to keep that kind of just...
Yeah, that whole thing we're gonna keep under the wraps. What we could say about it is that in the future, me and Bubba, or me and Bubba are gonna be working on getting something.
Was that the thing you're talking about, putting out on the stories that are made up?
Possibly.
Like
Yeah,
writing
it's something
it up
like
and
stories that are made
releasing
up.
it
It's
to that?
it's basically it's gonna be transmedia, cross media type of thing for Sloan Corp. That's about all I can really say. We haven't done much for it yet. We still have to wait for the whole. We got to build the universe first before we can start it.
Yeah.
And also
Actually jump out from it. Yeah, no, I get that.
that, and also
That makes sense to people.
we gotta keep a lot of it under wraps anyway, because it's gonna be a mystery type of thing.
Yeah.
So
You guys have
Well,
to play
yeah, see-
detectives.
yeah,
See, that's the one part I like, is where you guys are going into like gory mystery.
It's more or less,
basically.
I want to, in
Where we still got the mystery part going, as far as like the corporation. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're a corporation, but what else do they do?
yeah.
Do they just do corporation things, or are they actually playing around in other ventures or whatnot that they shouldn't be in or doing?
Yeah, and we've been trying to, hopefully, in some of the skits, try to plant that seed as well. We've been trying to make sure that, even though we're not starting it yet, make sure that definitely, like, well, that's Sloan Corp place.
There's something wrong with them.
There's kind of something weird about that place.
Like,
I don't know,
like,
son. Did you see about that one pill that they released?
Yeah, you know what I mean? That bodybuilder ball sack filler. That's the only
Well,
one I can remember off the
I
top of my head
also
right
like-
now, but...
I like how if we use the the jingle too. Now it has a jingle that just
Yeah,
you
and
know,
I like it.
every time it, that's what will pound it into anybody's head.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We've taken the whole idea of Sloan Corp, of what we come up with, and basically moved on from just that, these little buildings and nothing, and created the town of Sloan Creek.
Exactly.
And with Sloan Creek, we want to basically have it to where there's a map that you could look at and be like, well, there's Happy Jack Liquors, there's Sally's Roadside Diner, there's the headquarters of Sloan Corp, and all the other places that are on the map.
Exactly.
Also, we want to be able to. We want you for the universe, basically, to be able to know the characters.
That's the thing we're trying to introduce you to Sloan Creek is just not a town. It's actually what you're going to be introduced to is actually the people in that place.
Yeah.
And stuff, and you're going to run through their lives. But the biggest thing with the thing is that I referred to a lot of the commercials. I would put across the street from this mall and next to this building. Well, now it makes it so much easier with a map that people can go, oh, I get what they're doing. Because when I first did it, I was like, yeah, it's kind of funny and make them giggle. But then I started like, wow, I got to kind of keep the, I did it like maybe 4 or 5 times in a row on different commercials or in a skit even.
Yeah.
To where, okay, now I have to try to remember this Happy Jack's is here. Next to this is this place. Next to him is that place. Across the street's the mall named is obviously Sloan Creek Mall, but stuff like that. And that's where you guys jumped in and said, well, you got to make a map now.
Yeah. We've basically have so many places now that it's gotten so big that we had to or have to. We're still in the process of doing so. We're actually still cataloging everything, making sure we have everything ready to do so.
Yeah, the thing I'd like to the listeners really to the way they can help out in it as it gets going and it becomes more evident is the feedback on what ones to cut, what characters don't work, cut them out. Be kind about how you say cut them out. But,
yeah.
But like certain things that you're like, that's not working in it,
Mm-hmm.
and stuff. And we're not going to come off in the universe and anything like that. We'll just use them less.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because quite literally, your feedback is what helps us out the most. Whether it be, and kind of shilling, but whether it be rating the podcast 5 stars, subscribing to it, or anything. Also, that's good and everything. Also, leave a comment or whatnot. Tell us what you liked about it. It helps us craft the universe. It helps us keep what's good about it while ditching all the things that don't work. Because at this point, we're working off of what us 3 think is good. But that doesn't always correlate to what everyone else also thinks is good as well.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But to get off that tangent on feedback, we're going to now talk about a little more about Sloan Creek itself instead of how we came up with it, and then about where we want to go with it. So, the entirety of Sloan Creek itself, I do want to say, is a town. It does have the inhabitants and all of it, and they do live their lives and everything in there. Now, it's not something that's ran simulated or anything like that, but it's definitely people live their lives. Like the Jerry show, and he goes with the people you may know and all of that.
Yeah, that was something we started creating to really introduce to where gives the listener the idea that yes, they are going to talk to the people, not just, have skits about certain places or whatever. It's actually, these people will reoccur here and there, show up in skits, show up in commercials, stuff like that.
We've been doing it with the Scamix too recently. It's the Scamix is especially the later episodes we've been doing with it because it's more of a long form type of skit thing. We've been merging it with Repo Rick. Repo Rick had maybe one episode by himself, and then we decided to bring him on in with the Scamix. And we're doing so because it helps bring in the universe a lot more. Now you, instead of just seeing the Scamix inside their lot, we now get a broader image of what they might do in their daily lives. And now with Repo Rick, we get to see all the other different places when he goes into does his repo. So it gives you a bigger idea on what's inside of Sloan Creek. Because right now, we can't tell you, follow this creek, and we can tell you what roads to go down and what's all on those roads. Once we have the map up, definitely we can, though. What we can tell you, though, is that we do have the people who live there, and we do have the places. We just need to get them plotted.
Yeah.
Exactly. I want to all the characters become where you kind of know them. You'll like and dislike some, and I don't mean dislike like you don't want them in there no more.
It's
just
like the
them
character
as
you like to hate.
They're like the villain or some dumb shit like that.
It's like, this dude's a dumbass, but it wouldn't be the same without them.
They're like the little Donnie douchebag.
Yes.
Yeah. We want to basically take Sloan Creek forward and constantly with our skits bring out so that you are able to envision more and more of it in our skits.
It's like a town soap opera, basically.
Quite
the
literally.
whole town's one big ass soap opera.
Think of it like the Truman Show.
When I say
like the Truman Show.
Yeah, exactly, like the Truman Show. Everybody's the ones that are in on it, you'll know, and the ones that aren't in on it, you'll know, as in the characters and whatnots in this town. Because with Sloan Creek, obviously, the name, the town was an old town that was basically, I think it was relying on maybe mining of some form, and it stopped doing that. So really, the money was drying up. So Sloan Creek took advantage of it, started buying, how they do, buying up land and stuff, and they ended up getting enough of it, I guess, so cheap it looked like that, they created jobs, obviously, and put their headquarters there. And the town, I guess, voted to call it Sloan Creek now.
We'd have to go search through the records to get the official word on that.
Yeah, but that's what they were telling me.
And now they're leading innovations, and now they're leading innovations in almost every field.
Quite literally.
Yeah.
And
it's a big corporation.
We
now.
intend to not only take Sloan Creek further, we also intend to take Sloan Corp further.
Well, Sloan Corp, really, when they were not all that old nor that big at the time when they invested into what is now Sloan Creek, but back then it was that other creek. So really, they grew with the town if you think about it.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And we intend to continue to do so until the end of the podcast, whenever that may be.
Yeah, I don't know.
If that ever may be. Because I don't ever intend on stopping. And to be honest, I like doing the whole coffee bar universe. So I figure that we'll take this as far as we can go until we can't take it any further.
I'd see it at this point. The way I'm looking at it is there's a lot of possibilities because it's such a wide one. I can run. I wouldn't even attempt to start counting storylines. Long as I can keep them straight. That's the biggest problem because I'm writing all this stuff for myself. This is not like I'm getting a bunch of help and I have a background in any of this. All this is just coming from me just making up stuff and trying to keep it straight. So
You've gotten help from us from a few skits and a few ideas.
No.
But
what I'm saying is,
the majority of it comes from you.
Yeah, it's not like professional anything.
Oh,
you guys are
not.
not professional and stuff either.
No,
it's just
by no means.
I just got to come up with a system so I can keep everything straight better. Almost like how they do the whiteboards for when they I guess table readings and stuff like that, and how they keep everything straight. Yeah, I need to figure out how to organize my stuff so we ain't getting lost in storylines.
I have an idea, but that's for after.
Right,
that'll work. I think for Sloan Creek, we can end it all there. We've talked about how we started it. We've mentioned where we've gotten, like, where all the ideas for it come from, basically. And we've also mentioned where we want to take it from.
Yeah.
And I know I'm treating this kind of like an essay, but
I want people to think of it. This is more on a venture all the time. It's on a comedy tip and kind of risque and whatnots, but it's an adventure because in reality I don't honestly know where this is going, for the fact that I kind of come up with it as I go.
Yeah.
And that's another thing I need to make sure they understand. This is kind of getting made up as we go, and it is. It's not a long sit down planned out thing I've done. No. I'm not good at that. I've tried it and it don't work.
We've only done that for a few ideas. We only have a few things
just
long
like
form planned out.
Just like stories that are made up, a lot of those are, I got a small idea and then I just kind of fall into the rest of it and go. So I tell you what, I think if you like, when it really gets going, if you like some of it, I'd stick around, because I ain't gonna guarantee anything how it's gonna go, because I don't have no plan.
But you can but what we can guarantee is that
it ain't gonna be it ain't gonna be something you can predict. I know that for sure.
What we can guarantee though is that we'll be here.
Oh yeah.
So we hope you will too. I think for our final thing that we can touch on is that we want to attempt to do merchandise. Currently we're only looking at doing coffee mugs, obviously.
Have to go with the coffee mug.
Yes, and shirts. It would be with our current logo, the one we have right now for season 3. That would be the logo that we would have on both the shirt and the cup. We just need to know whether or not we should.
Yeah. We need to know. We need to have, see genuine interest in it.
Yes, because we'd rather not order a bunch of things than be sitting on inventory that never gets shipped out.
Exactly. Because there's other things I like to do. There'd be personal stuff up on there in time.
Yeah.
And stuff that I'd like to do that it's like one-offs that it has to do with, like, coffee bar stories. Maybe I do a personal design, make 10 of them, sell them at a certain price, and that's it. And it won't come back again. Something I'll do one on,
limited,
and that's the end of it.
Yeah, limited edition.
Yeah, that's it.
There we go.
Things, but that's down the road a little ways.
Mm-hmm. But we would like to see if anyone who listens to the podcast is interested in us bringing about merchandise, because we would definitely like to do so.
Yeah. Even like if you're into ball caps or beanies, if something like that, let us know if that's type of stuff. Cups, whatever. I mean, let us know what type of things you think, and we'll look into it and see what we got going.
Indeed.
So, I think with that, I'm Son.
I'm Bubba.
And this is Dad.
And this has been the Coffee Bar Stories. Thank you for listening, and have a wonderful evening.
Thank you for listening.
We hope you guys had a really good time.
Catch us next time.
This has been Dad.
This is Son.
And this is Bubba.
You've been listening to the Coffee Bar Stories. Catch us next time in the same coffee bar time, same coffee bar channel.
Oh, hey, you're still here? Cool. Well, you might as well hit that follow button and maybe rate us, I don't know, 5 stars or something on Spotify and leave some comments and don't forget to subscribe. See ya.